Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, and welcome back to another live stream. Good morning or good day, depending on where you're from. How's everybody doing today? Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good day. Hello, and welcome back. We will take a few moments to say good morning to the community. Welcome everybody into the live stream before we get into any conversations today. Some very exciting news today. I'm going to give it a couple moments for people to join first. Say good morning to the community. We'll get into some announcements. Some very exciting news. Some stuff we've been working on is coming to fruition. Very excited to share it with everyone here. Give some time for people to join first, and then we'll get into the conversation. Take some time to say good morning to the community first. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning or good day, depending on where you're from. See who we have here today. Good morning, Yubong. Good morning, Mr. Gangster. Good morning, Maya. Good morning, Ray J. Good morning, Kershley. Good morning, Trader Kira. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Picasso. Good morning, Tad. HMH, how are you doing today? Enrique, good morning. Laguma, good morning. June, good morning. Estros, good morning. Easy, good morning. Francis, good morning. Abish, good morning. Joris, good morning. Shala, good morning. Mike, good morning. Nadir, good morning. Uturo, good morning. Ziki, good morning. Ivan, good morning. Mohammed, good morning. ED, good morning. Pierre, how are you doing today? Dylan, good morning. Livy, good morning. Sally, good morning. Wright, good morning. Ken, good morning. Boozy, good morning. Marvy, good morning. Azos, good morning. Adam, good morning. Uday, good morning. Makio, good morning. 10 million, good morning. IJ, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody's week going so far? See how the chat is doing to start the week. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're green. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're red. Throw a 3 in the chat if you have yet to trade this week. Good morning, Brilliant. Starting off with some 1s. Starting off with some 3s. Okay, couple 2s in there. Bunch of 1s. That's good to see. Couple more 3s. Very good, very good. Decent week, it looks like, so far. Another 2, couple more 1s. Bunch of 1s so far. Love to see that. Very good job. Bunch of 1s so far. Love to see the green. Now, the next question I have for you is, it's NFP week. We got NFP news release coming out on Friday morning. Where do you stand with your risk? Right? If you're green on the week, are you just going to stay green on the week? Right? Are you going to be done for the week knowing that NFP release is on Friday? And you'll accept what has been already achieved and you'll stay on the sidelines for the rest of the week? Or will you be the individual to keep pushing the button and potentially hand back the greens that you've already made? It all comes down to a decision. Which one are you going to make? In my opinion, we got NFP on Friday, so if you're green on the week, I'd choose to stay green. NFP is one of our most volatile news events. For that reason, risk will be increased. For that reason, if you are green, I would rather stay green. Okay, so we're all independent thinkers here. Everybody has their own risk tolerance. So it comes down to you making a choice for yourself. As an independent thinker, you are to take extreme ownership of all of your actions. In my opinion, we should be doing things that are good for our long-term health of this business. Okay? One of those things would be, when you're green, to be done for the week, right? Avoid burnout, save mental capital, make progress by staying green, right? All of those are healthy for the long-term ability to continue participating in this business. So we always need to be thinking in terms of logic. We always need to be thinking in the scope of risk management. Try to stay away from the euphoric, intrusive thoughts. All right, so just saying good morning to the community, welcoming everybody in. Couple announcements first, and then we'll get into some price action. So, very excited. Few announcements here, and then we'll get into some price action heading into New York Open. First things first is my birthday. Very happy to say it. I'm about to join the 30s club. Turning 30 on Monday. Cinco de Mayo. So, because it's my birthday, we're going to go ahead and get some more giveaways going. For the people that have been with me for quite some time, you would have already seen how many giveaways I've done. I mean, I'm doing 1 to 2 giveaways every single month, and I've been doing that for multiple years now. So one of the things that I try to focus on is providing value to the community. And one of the ways that I provide value is getting free accounts for you guys. In my opinion, giving people the opportunity at another income stream is of value. So, you know, don't take these giveaways as a free gamble. Take it with complete seriousness, because one funded account can really change your financial status. So I'm going to continue to keep trying to provide as much value through getting free accounts every single month. And for my birthday, make sure to follow along on the Twitter account, because I will be running birthday giveaways. So even though it's my birthday, you guys are getting the presents. Trying to make sure I could add as much value as I can every single month. Along with the birthday celebrations, we're going to do discounts for the private group. Okay, Unicorn University. That is our premium group. That is our private mentorship. Everybody has seen it before. It's been running for over a year now. Some phenomenal success stories have already been accomplished. So take a look for the discounts that are also going to happen for the premium group on Monday. Okay, all of this will be in the announcement sections of the Discords. It will also be on my Twitter feed. So follow along there. That leads me into the next conversation, is one of those success stories. Eat More Chicken. That's his online username. This individual has shown great success through funded accounts. So much so that My Funded Futures has brought him into a live account. He's seen so many payouts from My Funded Futures that they are transitioning him to a live account. And that success story, I'm going to dive into. I want to see what he has done to get to that point in time. What were the key components that helped him make that progress? And we're going to get a look to that journey through a live stream. We're going to set up a student stage. We've ran student stages in the past. We're going to run another student stage with Eat More Chicken. That's his online username. Phenomenal individual, longtime member of all of the communities, has done so well that they've moved him into live accounts. So props to Eat More Chicken. Phenomenal job. And I'm very excited to get that student stage going. Okay, so definitely show up to that student stage. You'll get a behind the scenes look at the path to making it to a live account. Some very crucial, valuable information for these funded accounts. Okay, the student stage is going to be in the public Discord, so it's free. Anybody could join. Join the public Discord. Go to the live stream. That will be on Friday at 10:30 a.m. New York time. 10:30 a.m. New York time. We'll make sure it's recorded so that the recording can also go on the YouTube. Therefore, if you don't make the live stream, you could also get the recording on YouTube. Okay, so follow Eat More Chicken on Twitter. Show up to the live stream. Some very valuable information. Then we also have Trader Kira. He's also going to be going live. This one's going to be for the premium group. Okay, he's one of the analysts in the premium group. Phenomenal individual, providing value every single day. Being capable of being around other like-minded professionals really gives so much more value, gives more perspective to running this business. He will be sharing some value 1 p.m. That one's going to be today in the premium group. Okay, so that's only for premium members. So some very exciting announcements. I have 2 more announcements. A lot of information this morning, so buckle up. 2 more announcements, and then we'll get into the live price action. So stick with me here. Next announcement is that we've been asked to participate in the My Funded TV. My Funded Futures approached me, asked me if I could do the 10:30 to 11:30 segment on My Funded TV Monday through Friday. So, with that being said, I'm going to take the deal. I'm going to hop on My Funded TV Monday through Friday, 10:30 to 11:30. Okay, so if you're not getting enough value here on the weekly live streams, how about daily? Would that help? Would getting more live streams on YouTube be of value to you? If yes, throw a thumbs up in chat. Excuse me. If yes, throw a thumbs up in chat if I should do it. 10:30 to 11:30, My Funded TV, Monday through Friday. That's something you guys would want to see. We'll take the deal and we'll start going live daily over there. Okay. I'm doing everything I can to get more value for everyone here. And we're going to do it publicly so that everybody could get a chance at it. Okay, last announcement, and then we'll get into the live price action, is I'm also going to start partnering with Funded Next. Okay, one of the FX giants that came over to futures to start a futures prop firm. You could probably see their logo in the overlay there on my live stream. That's because I'm finishing up a partnership deal with them right now. So if you guys want to try Funded Next, use code ASH. That'll give you a 5% discount. And also be on the lookout for any giveaways, because now that means I can get more giveaways for you guys. Okay, so I'm also going to be sharing my experience with them. I had mentioned in the public Discord if I should try them. We got a good response, so I'm going to go ahead and try them. I'm going to document the entire experience so everybody else can see it. If that's something of interest to you guys, follow along. Use code ASH. Use the referral link. The links are in the bento, which is in the bio of all my socials. The link is also in the discounts section of the Discords. Okay, so another opportunity to get more giveaways for the community. All right, so enough of the announcements now. Time to get into some live price action. Thank you for all the feedback. I really greatly appreciate it. It looks like I should get on my funded TV. Seems like something everybody is saying yes to. Okay, so I'll definitely update you on that, but looks like if we go through with that, that will start on Monday, and it'll be 10:30 to 11:30 New York time every single week. All right, I'll gladly continue to keep showing my experience in the marketplace. I will continue to keep publicly documenting, so anybody that's following along can learn from it. We could work together, and in my opinion, working together provides so much more value. Being around other like-minded professionals who are working on the same model provides so many more experiences than if we were to do this on our own. You know, we have a community of thousands of unicorn traders. Every time somebody posts a unicorn chart in chat, that's another learning experience for ourselves. So keep sharing your charts, keep asking questions, and let's keep showing up, because every single time we gain more experience, that turns into more conviction. We have to put the time in to build that muscle memory. And for anybody that wants to build that muscle memory with me, now you know where I'll be doing it, because I'm showing up every single day, every single week. I won't be stopping. All right, so before we get into some live price action now that the announcements are done, do me a favor. If you're wondering why you can't communicate with us in chat, you have to sub to the channel. So sub to the channel. That way you can communicate and chat with us. And while you're at it, like the video. And we'll now get into some live price action. Okay, so now for price. Game plan has been and always will be the same. I don't plan on changing my model. If at any point in time it ever stops working, then I'll reconsider it. Until that time happens, I'm going to keep my discipline and my patience, along with my consistency in executing my model. Okay? It doesn't matter if you guys trade a different model than me. We can still work together and share our experiences. It's more than okay for you to be an independent thinker, and I advise that you are. Figure out what works best for yourself, whether it's my model, whether it's somebody else's model, whether it's a model you make up yourself. It doesn't matter how you execute. Show up and gain the conviction. Show up and work. Show up and put the time in each day so you can learn the skill and you could have that chance at another income source. Okay, so whatever model you want to execute, let's continue to keep showing up and sharing our experiences so other people can gain value from it. Okay, so first things first, for myself, time is always the most important element. I like to participate during the opening times. Okay, I'm looking to participate at New York Open. I'm from the US, I'm on the East Coast. 9:30 in the morning is the prime time for myself. So knowing myself, that's when I want to be participating. Along with time, we also need to know the economic calendar, the important times of the day. Okay? First thing that I have to say about this is non-farm payroll. Okay? Monday to Friday, excuse me. Let me fix that statement. Wednesday to Friday of non-farm payroll week, I do not participate. So I will not be participating in any live or funded account trades Wednesday to Friday of non-farm payroll week because of non-farm payroll. Because of non-farm payroll. It is one of our most volatile news events. Okay? Which sounds like it's the worst time to be wrong. Right? I'm always thinking in terms of risk, not reward. Right? I want to be thinking logically, not euphorically. So I'm thinking in terms of risk. And in terms of risk, would I rather be wrong on a 20-point range? Or would I rather be wrong on a 100-point range? Right? When things are more volatile, losses can be harsher than they would if they were smaller ranges. Okay, so the volatility is the reason why. Next is, mental health, emotional health. You should have planned breaks. Strategic breaks. Built-in, scheduled breaks. Again, we have to think in terms of our long-term health of running this business. Do you honestly think that trading 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, is going to be healthy for your physical health, your mental health, to be here for the next 20 years, to be here for the next 50 years? Is it healthy for you long term to be staring at this chart 8 hours a day? In my opinion, no, it's not. And that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that having scheduled breaks is important. All of the other aspects in our life still need to be worked on. Family, health, other businesses. Having those scheduled breaks will help that, along with helping your risk management. I don't think trading every single time, I don't think trading more is the answer. You've heard me say this a million times. I'll continue to keep saying it. Less is more. Quality over quantity. I would rather have 1 good trade a week, 2 good trades a week, and be done. That way I can work on my physical health. I could go to the gym. You need to be working on those other aspects of your life. You cannot be so stuck on trading that we're losing out on other aspects of our life. So Wednesday to Friday of non-farm payroll week is one of those scheduled breaks. Same thing with CPI and FOMC. Okay? Save that mental capital. Touch some grass. Do something good for the soul. Okay? So, even with understanding non-farm payroll is this Friday, we also have a 10 a.m. news driver, right? So, 10 a.m. If this was a normal day, I would say look to execute after the news. So understanding that we have a 10 a.m. news driver, I would wait until after 10 a.m. to start to look to execute. Okay. So we have to understand that there's a 10 a.m. red folder as well. So these are all of our elements of time that we need to be aware of. Okay. Next comes bias or draw on liquidity. When we're determining our bias or our draw on liquidity, we're on the daily chart. And we're looking at only a couple things here. What we look at is fair value gaps swing highs and swing lows. Okay, not a lot of things. Once again, less is more, quality over quantity. When we're on the daily chart, we're looking to understand where is price currently located at the time of New York Open. Right, so we're on the daily chart for NQ. It's really clear to me that we are currently inside of a bullish FVG on the daily chart. Right, so inside of a bullish FVG, that would give me a bullish bias. Right, so when we go down to here for our entry function time frame, we need to keep an eye on this daily bullish FVG, because if we are to bounce from the daily bullish FVG, that would be something that would warrant a long position inside of a bullish bias. Right, so next comes the next part of the process. Even if you're capable of creating a bias, even if you're capable of understanding your time, you still need an entry function. Right, and everybody knows that I use the unicorn model. Right, so in terms of a game plan, there's the entire game plan right there. This is what I do every single morning before the market opens, before I execute. I create a game plan using defined justifications to my actions. Then during the time of the opening times, I execute that game plan. Okay, so going back to the earlier statement, I don't care what your game plan is, right? If you have a different model than me, that's okay. That's great. You should be an independent thinker. Okay? So let's not deter other people by saying they're doing something right or wrong. Let's just share our experiences. Because even if you trade a different model than me, that doesn't mean we can't show up and work every single morning. I'm not against other models. I have traded other models throughout my trading career. I'm human just like everybody else here. Okay, so just respect everybody else, show up, provide value, and let's continue to keep gaining experience every single week. Now with my live streams, this is why I do this, so that you guys understand what I'm looking for, so that you can see the logic to my decision making, right? Because hindsight's not going to get us anywhere. Okay? Looking at stuff after the fact, you're not going to be able to profit from that. We need to know the logic and the decision making in real time so we can execute it. Right? Because all of this means nothing if you cannot execute. Okay, so what really matters is being a risk manager. What really matters is being an operator, an executioner. You have to be able to take an idea, understand that idea, and then execute it. Put it into place and understand how to utilize that information. Right? So that's what I do here on the live streams. I'm doing that in real time so everybody else can understand the logic and the decision making to all of my executions. Right? So now let's run through it real quick. I explained to you that we want to be participating during the opening times, right? New York Open. Okay. And then we also explained that there's a 10 a.m. red folder. All right, so let's wait another 10 minutes. And let's see if we get a bullish unicorn model because we have a bullish bias. right? So if 10 a.m. opens and we get this right here, right? We have a bullish bias, so we would be looking at a bullish unicorn model, which would be a swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. That's exactly what we have right here. Ready? Swing low, swing high, new low. Do we get a new high? Right? That's what I'm asking myself this morning. Let's see if being inside of a bullish daily FVG warrants a bullish bias. If the bullish bias plays out, then the thing that I would use to execute that is a bullish unicorn. Do you see the logic? Do you see the understanding of the game plan and how we would execute it? Right, so now we would need displacement through the breaker. Right, if price displaced all the way through these up close candles. When it displaces through the breaker, it would need to leave an FVG aligned with it. Right? If it did that, right? If it gave us all of our confirmations, then this would be a bullish unicorn. If we got a bullish unicorn, then I would look to execute from the beginning of the breaker with a stop loss at the low and aim for 2R. Notice how all of these are if-then statements. That's very key here in understanding what's going on. Because the reality of the situation is it's great to have a game plan. It's great to be able to develop a bias. It's great to have an entry function. But if price doesn't align with that, then you have to have the mental and emotional control to do nothing. To wait. To be patient enough to stay on the sidelines, to only execute when you can confirm the justifications to your actions. And I just walked through all of the justifications to my actions. Here's the game plan. Showed you all the reasonings to my game plan. Here's the bias. I told you the reasoning to the bias. Here's the entry function. If it appears, I'll outline it. If it does not appear, then I'm not going to outline it because I'm only looking to execute my model. Right? So a bullish unicorn has not appeared yet. So I'm taking that back off the screen because it's not confirmed. I wouldn't execute something that's not confirmed. I'm not looking to execute a different model, and I need all of the confirmations to my model for me to take any risk. Right, so that's day trading in a nutshell. We can talk about the other corners of execution if it ever gets to that point in time, right? Because the next conversation that I would have to go into is understanding risk, right? 172 points. That's that large range that I was talking about in the beginning of the conversation. This is NFP type of price action. Larger ranges. 172 point stop loss. Right? Like if you were to use a 172 point stop loss, I would not be executing on NQ. That's way too much risk. One contract of NQ at 172 points. Geez, I'm not even good at math. I need to get my calculator for this because that's way too many points. 172 points, $20 a point. That's $3,440 and some change. I didn't even see the 0.75. So one contract of NQ. I don't think with the funded accounts that everybody's using here, should be using $3,000 worth of drawdown. You should probably go down to the micros is where I'm going with this, right? Go to MNQ because MNQ is only $2 a point. Now that sounds a little more logical, right? 172 points of a stop loss with one contract of MNQ would only be $344 of risk. Now that's logical in terms of risk for these funded accounts. That's logical. Right? So notice that I'm not changing my model. I'm not saying, oh, I only use 30-point stop losses. So I'll still enter at the breaker block and I'll only use a 30-point stop loss. No. The position size changes. The position size changes. The market determines the entry. The market determines the stop. You determine the size. You determine the size. Entry should be at the beginning of the breaker. Stop loss should be at the swing point. Right? So the market determines the entry. The market determines the stop. You determine the risk. See what I'm saying here? So that would be the next part of the conversation. Okay. We have now understood how to develop a game plan. We've gotten the justifications to why the game plan is what the game plan. Now we know what we're looking for. So now it's a matter of being patient enough to wait for it and aligning our actions with it. If what we're looking for occurs, then we would have to understand if we're willing to accept the risk, right? If you've already decided that today was going to be a no trade day for yourself, I should not be seeing you take a trade, because you aligning your words with your actions is way more important than what's shown on the screen here. That's what's actually going to make progress in your business. The moment you can have discipline, consistency, patience, extreme ownership of your actions, right? Because the reality of the scenario is, and this is the reason why I'm saying it, reality of the scenario is right now my bias is wrong. Do you see me jumping into a different kind of position? Do you see me scrambling and changing my model? Do you see me going throughout the community looking for some kind of signal or alert? No. No, no, no. Discipline in the game plan. Consistency in showing up, creating your game plan, and executing your game plan. Then having the extreme ownership in those actions, right? Not changing what you do because you're not getting what you want. That's what discipline is. Okay, so hopefully walking through the entire process makes sense. Now that I've gotten through the entire process, some live price action, I'll show you what my actions are, right? Like right now, my actions are, we have a 10 a.m. news driver coming up. We wanted to wait until after the news driver. And what we're looking for after the news driver is one of these. So that's why you keep seeing me measuring the risk, right? Because now that we've swept a new low, we would have a new breaker block. So now if there was a bullish breaker, it would be here. And that's why you see me measuring the risk to understand the risk, because the risk needs to be accepted before the risk is taken. Right, so we'll see if they want to turn around, because there is still a chance. I understand that we've gone past the daily FVG, but there's still a chance that we bounce from here. If we don't bounce from here, right, if there's no bullish unicorn that appears in another minute or so, what is a 5-minute chart, and we still need 2 confirmations. So after the news, essentially, if we do not get a bullish unicorn, then I'm okay with being wrong, right? This is where your actions need to align with your words. If you were bullish today and you were looking for a bullish entry function, then If no bullish entry function presents itself, you should be flat for the day. In my opinion, you shouldn't be changing your model and scrambling just to get $1. Because that's not repeatable. If you want to trade off of discretion, then choose to trade off of discretion. Don't even bother having a model. Just go with the flow at that point. But if you're looking to have a model, if you're trying to have reasons to why you execute and understand how to execute, then in my opinion, you should align your words with your actions. Right? So my words are that I'm bullish this morning. I was waiting for after the news. Now it's after the news. If a bullish unicorn appears, then we'll take a look at it. If no bullish unicorn appears, right? So far, no bullish unicorn has appeared. We will not do anything. It'll be a flat day. There will be no position to consider. And there's nothing wrong with that. In this business, a lot of the time, it's spent doing nothing. If you can't be capable of doing nothing, you're going to have to work on your patience. Right? Like so far this morning, I've done a whole bunch of nothing. We created a game plan. Since we've created that game plan, nothing has happened. No actions have been taken. So we'll just wait and see. Patience is truly a virtue. Okay, so now that was the opening bell segment. You understand what I'm looking for. You understand the game plan. Now, if you have any questions or comments, if you have any information you would like to go over, throw it in chat. Okay, I'll get back over to chat, start answering questions, go through information. Doesn't matter what kind of questions they are. Feel free to throw any kind of question in there. I'll gladly go over any information. If I missed your question, just throw the question back in there. I wasn't looking at chat during the live analysis. If you're wondering why you can't participate in chat, you have to sub to the channel. Chat is sub-only mode. And while you're at it, like the video. Let me get back over to chat here. How many points past the breaker do you consider displacement? A candle closure with an FVG, right? So displacement itself literally means an FVG. Okay, so if there is no FVG, then I wouldn't consider it displacement. Okay, so right now this would be the current breaker block. It is not a breaker block yet because we have not displaced through it. Okay, so what we would need is candle closure anywhere up here. There's no amount of points. So the question was, how many points past the breaker do you consider displacement? There is no amount of points. There's no set number. It's not 1 point above. It's not 10 points above. It's not 20 points above. There is no set number. It is simply candle closure above the breaker. So right now, it would have to close up here somewhere. And there would need to be an FVG. Right? An FVG that aligns with the breaker block. That's what displacement is. Right now, that has not happened. Notice how we have not gotten a candle closure up here yet. And there is no bullish FVG. So the gray box outlining is just outlining a potential breaker. This is just preparation for if it happens. This is not a breaker yet because price has not closed above it. So this is just simple preparation. Does it make a difference that there is no daily FVG on ES? At that particular place, we have an FVG on NQ. Yeah, in my opinion, that's why I'm looking at NQ. Okay? If we were to look at ES, there's nothing really to work off of. Hence the FVG. Right? So that is actually the reason why my analysis was on NQ. There's something in terms of my model that I work with that I can work off of. The daily FVG creating the bias. So I'm not interested in I'm not interested in ES for that reason. I would rather see NQ bounce because it would look like a nice tap of the daily bullish FEG. Today there was a unicorn on gold, but because of order limit, I missed it, and it was a huge move. How do you deal with when price doesn't hit your order limit or you enter market price? It doesn't matter. Hindsight is 2020. You would not be saying that if it was a stop loss. So I don't care what happens afterwards. Don't worry about anything that is hindsight. Look at it through a black and white scope. It either happens or it doesn't. If it happens, then the results matter. If it does not happen, that information no longer matters. Right? If you don't get an entry, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the things you can't control. We are having huge displacement to the downside on higher time frames. Would you still go long in such conditions? I mean everything I said this morning. So if you didn't watch the beginning of this video, go back to the beginning of the live stream. I've gone through my entire top-down analysis, and we're waiting for that to occur. We're waiting to see those results. So I've created my information. I've created my game plan. I told you the logic to my game plan. Now it's a matter of seeing if that information was correct or wrong. When I get the results, then we can review them. Until then, we're just waiting. Is switching your bias after market open play out? I see your point of not taking a trade if I don't get an entry for my bias. You can do whatever you'd like, right? So I'm not sitting here and saying what is right or wrong. I'm just sharing my experience publicly. This is what I do. This is what's gotten me payouts. So I plan on continue to keep doing that. I have no reason to fix something that's not broken. Okay? If you don't feel like following along with my information, that's more than okay. You should be an independent thinker, right? So just because I don't change my bias during the session doesn't mean you can't. My only suggestion for you is that you make that determination beforehand. You understand how to execute before you execute, right? So if you're willing and want to change your bias at any moments in time, make that decision now and stick to it and move forward with that. Because being in the middle ground of changing your decision all the time, that's when it becomes a problem. You have to understand how you execute, why you execute, so that it could be repeatable, so that it could be turned into muscle memory. Not trading my accounts for the rest of the week. Is paper trading okay for education and building conviction? You should only be paper trading the same way that you trade your model, right? So if you have a scheduled break of Wednesday to Friday of non-farm payroll week, you should not be taking any paper trades during that time, right? So notice I'm here just watching and learning. I'm not on a paper trading account, right? I'm not looking to paper trade today. I already stated that I don't participate Wednesday to Friday of non-farm payroll week. I came in, I developed my game plan. Now I'm just looking to see what happens to that game plan. I'm not looking to risk. Period. End of story. I already determined my risk before the risk happened, and my actions will align with that. Right? Like, practice how you play is what I'm trying to say. If you're not supposed to be playing today, you should not be playing today. Practice how you play. When do you decide to switch from the 5-minute to the 1-minute? I execute on the 5-minute. I've gone through my results, and the majority of my losses have occurred on the 1-minute chart. So as of 2025, I've only been staying on the 5-minute chart. So I'm not looking to switch to the 1-minute chart. looking to confirm my model on the 5-minute chart. If the model gets confirmed on the 5-minute chart, the executions would happen on the 5-minute chart. I'm not looking to go down to the 1 minute at all. Hey Ash, I've entered on a 1-minute unicorn using 4-hour, 15-minute, 1-minute time frame alignment. Could you please have a look? I'm just going to go ahead and... Okay, it looks like you actually set it down here on ES. Perfect. Thank you for updating that. You're saying 4-hour, 15-minute, 1 minute. So, okay, so let's... If you're talking about a current one that is currently happening right this very second, the 4-hour says that we have tapped into a bullish FVG. So the 4-hour would be the bias. This would give me a bullish bias because we just tapped into a 4-hour bullish FVG. It's going to be the same thing with the 15-minute, right? So in terms of higher time frame points of interest, look at all these lows that we've taken out. 1, 2, 3. So in terms of higher time frame points of interest in a bullish bias, I would want to be looking for longs below old lows or inside of bullish FVGs. So you're below a bunch of old lows here, right? We've swept out all this liquidity, this line right here. You can see it. Liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. Okay. So we're below a bunch of old lows in terms of higher time frame points of interest. 1 minute time frame. Take a look. Okay, so if you're using this, right, you have a swing low here, swing high here, new low, new high. Good job. I do agree with this. You have all the institutional swing points there. Swing low, swing high, new low, new high. Bullish FVG. This is what it would be looking like. Good job. I agree with what you have there. Multiple entries already. This would be the confirmation. 10:01 would be the confirmation. So then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different entries. And you're already sitting at trying to get to 1R here. Not at 1R just yet. But I agree with what you have. Very good job. All right, so NQ got the close above. Now the last thing we need is a bullish FVG. So in terms of the 5-minute model, okay, we need another 2 minutes. And in 2 minutes, we need this FVG to be confirmed. If that FVG is confirmed, then we have a bullish unicorn. All of these things would align with the game plan that I have created. So this would be a model. We just have to wait for the confirmation. You have to wait another 2 minutes to see if this FVG is aligned. Do you have a fail flip method if the initial bias is wrong? No, I don't change my bias throughout the session. I've mentioned that a couple times now. I'll keep saying it. I don't change my bias throughout the session. That's how I've chosen to execute. It is okay to change your bias if you feel like it. I'm just letting you know. I'm sharing my information publicly. This is how I execute. Whether you want to align with that, great. If you don't want to, great. When you consider that FVG is invalidated, you got to be more specific with that question. I've pointed to a lot of FVGs in the past half an hour. I'm just going to go out on a limb and maybe think that you're talking about the daily FVG because that's kind of the focal point for this morning's session. When candle closes below it, when a candle closes past that FVG on the FVG's time frame, right? So this is a daily FVG. Okay. If there was a daily candle that closed past that FVG, then I would call it invalidated. So since a daily candle has not closed past the daily FVG, it is not invalidated yet. Need a candle closure on the time frame that the FEG is found on to close past it for it to be invalidated. Sorry, this game plan thing is messing me up. I'm trying to get it back in the right location. There we go. Got to figure out a better way of doing that. We'll see. All right, so we're looking like we're going to get the confirmation here. So this is what we will be looking at for today. When we get a result to this, then I will begin to wrap up the live stream. So this is the reason why I create a game plan, okay? This is the exact reason. You understand what you're looking for so that everything else that happens doesn't mean anything to you. It's almost like tunnel vision. If you understand what you're looking for, then you'll know when to execute because you're looking for something certain. And when that something certain happens, then that's what allows me to take the risk. That's what makes me say, okay, I'm willing to take the risk. This is one of those situations. Okay? You saw me develop a bullish game plan heading into the market. You saw me point to the 10 a.m. news. We allowed those things to happen. The market has opened. The news occurred. Now, within our bullish bias, you've received a bullish entry function. See how when all of the justifications to your actions are aligned, that would be willing of the risk compared to impulsively acting? That's why we make a game plan right there. Right? So now we have a bullish unicorn. Now this aligns with the game plan. So then you determine your risk, right? 109 points. That's a large stop loss, right? So 109 points on one contract of NQ would be $2,180 of risk. That's where you sit there and look at your risk tolerance, right? If that's too large of a risk, go down to the micros, because one contract of MNQ would be $218 of risk, right? So if $218 of risk sounds appropriate for your risk tolerance, then execute this idea on a micro, MNQ, right? Because then it would be $218. That's what you're risking for a potential opportunity of making $436 of profit, right? 1 to 2 risk to reward. So now we sit and we wait, right? We've developed a game plan. We understand the game plan. We could identify that the game plan is happening. And now we know how to execute the game plan. This is why I have a model, so that it could be muscle memory, so that it's more of a cause and effect relation. I'm not impulsively acting. There's very little discretion to it. There will always be some form of discretion. Discretion never goes away. But at least there's some form of mechanical operating. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the game plan is valuable. See if it provides a favorable result. We'll see. All right, so now it's just a matter of being patient, allowing the probabilities to play out, fully accepting the risk. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take a sip of water. Then I'll get back to the chat and get through some more questions. All right, thank you very much. And let's get back over to the chat. That way we can go over some more questions and information. Again, if you want to participate in chat, you have to sub to the channel. It is sub-only mode for chat. So if you want to participate in the conversation with us, sub to the channel. Can the unicorn also be used for continuation trades? Yes. The unicorn model is used for reversal trades and continuation trades. Would you be concerned about the 1 hour bearish FEG for the setup? That would be a draw on liquidity. Price needs to go and rebalance. Right? So you're probably pointing to this right here, right? Price is only ever doing two things. It's either running to take out a swing low or swing high, right? It either grabs liquidity below a swing low or a swing high. That is what grabbing liquidity is. Or it's rebalancing an imbalance, right, in FEG. So, am I worried? No. That is actually, in fact, something that I like, because price just took out a bunch of swing lows. Right? So the next thing that it will need to do is rebalance this imbalance. So no, it's not a worry. It's actually something that I like because of the understanding of price, the logic of price delivery. Right? Price is either running to grab liquidity at a swing low or a swing high, or it's rebalancing an imbalance. It just grabbed liquidity below a swing low. So now the next thing it'll need to do is rebalance the imbalance. Hey, Ash, I've entered on the one. Oh, I read that one already. I already took a look at that one. Thank you for participating, Aaron. Let's go back to Aaron's position. Let's see how well Aaron did. Nice job, Aaron. Nice job, Aaron. 1.33 RR. Could be done with that if you want. If you want to just be green on the day. Right? This is a larger winner than loser. You're at 1.33 already. Very good job. Very good job, Aaron. Is a uni with a larger FEG higher probability than a uni with a smaller FEG? That's not something that I look at. So I'm not, anytime I don't have the information, I'm going to defer to somebody else. And this is one of those situations. I have not collected the information on smaller versus larger FEGs. So I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, yes or no. I just don't have the information on that. And I'd rather be straightforward and honest. That's not something that I look at. Ash, would the minus OB on the 15-minute NQ just above the uni stop you from taking the trade? No. Nope. Created a game plan. Entry function aligned with the game plan has occurred during the time that I was looking for it. Completed the justifications to my actions. That would be what allows me to accept the risk. Now it's a matter of allowing the probabilities to play out. So no, that's also not something that I'm looking at. Am I concerned about what's happening on the hourly time frame? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the hourly time frame is, right? What happens after expansion? Who knows the answer to this? In the phases of price delivery, what happens after expansion? Right, we just saw expansion this morning to the downside. Very clear that we expanded lower very aggressively to the downside. What happens after expansion? Very good job. Very good job for the individuals that are participating. After expansion, you only consider two things: consolidation or retracement. One or two of those things are going to occur, right? So let's show you an example, right? Look at this expansion here. I'm talking about the move up. Look at this move up. What happens after expansion? Look at the consolidation, right? You get a consolidation. Then you get a retracement. Now, since we're going the other way, we would be looking at the same thing because the logic remains the same. Expansion. If we were to see a retracement, this would be the retracement. So yes, the hourly chart is definitely telling me information. And currently, the information is we just took a bunch of liquidity. We swept out all of these lows. 1, 2, 3. We swept out all these lows. So we grabbed a bunch of liquidity into a higher time frame point of interest, the daily FVG. And understanding price delivery, since it was a quick expansion lower, I would expect a retracement back higher. So yeah, I'm definitely considering the hourly market structure. That does provide a lot of information. We wait for a pullback to enter the breaker block. You have to understand how you execute before you execute. Okay? There's many ways to deal with the breaker block. Some people are market ordering the very first chance they can get. So there are the people that front run positions, right? They get in as early as possible, front runners. The front runners probably market ordered right in here. During this candle here, the 1005 candle or the 1010 candle. The front runners probably market ordered at this very moment in time. They market ordered longs, and congratulations for them. They're now sitting nicely in profit. You're closing in on 1-to-1 R, so I mean 80 points on NQ, you could be done for the day. Nonetheless, you have the front runners. Those are the people that market order the very first opportunity they get. Or you have the limit orders. The limit orders are the individuals that wait for the retest, right? Those people haven't been entered into their orders yet because it has not retested the breaker block. So go to your data and look to see what provides more favorable results. Understand your characteristics, your mental and emotional intelligence to understand what you operate best with, right? Market ordering, front running. This is more aggressive. Or limit ordering. This is more patient, right? Because you either get less confirmations or more confirmations. You would have more confirmations if you're limit ordering. You'd have less confirmations if you're market ordering. You should understand yourself and how you best operate. That's how you should move forward. There is no right or wrong, okay? Because there's only profit or loss. The people that market ordered are in profit right now and could be done for the day, right? So you can't tell them they're wrong because they are green right now. And they could be done for the day if they wanted to. So collect the data is what it comes down to. Collect the data to understand how you best operate and then move forward with that. Whether you want to market order and be one of those front runners or limit order so you can get all those confirmations. Yeah, I took profit already. 1.33 RR. Let's get a W in chat for Aaron. Let's go, Aaron. Very good job. Congratulations on 1 minute unicorn here on ES. Aaron pointed out this 1 minute unicorn here, and I believe this is what Aaron executed. Also took the profits, so very good job. Now, more importantly, is over trading is never acceptable. Who cares what happens after you're done with the position. Okay? Close up shop and be done for the day. What's most important is when you're green, stay green. Who cares what happens after this? None of that matters. Hindsight is 2020. What does matter is that you don't give back the profits that you just made. That's what truly matters. Your actions and your risk management. So once you get green, it's your responsibility to stay green. My opinion is close up shop, turn off all devices, get off of all charts, remove it from your phone, get off the computer, go work out. That's what I would say. Very good job, Aaron. Huge W. Do you need SMT to qualify the unicorn? No. No, you don't. If you would like to use SMT as confluence, great idea. But notice that the more things you put on your checklist, the harder it'll be to get into a trade. Right? Like if you have 20 different criteria that needs to be completed, there's going to be very little amount of times that all 20 criteria are completed. If you only have one criteria to complete, you will clearly have a lot more trades than the individual that has 20 criteria. See the difference there? This goes back to the statement, once again, less is more. Less is more. Quality over quantity. You do not need 20 different things to get into a trade. Just pick 3 of them, right? Time, bias, entry function. These 3 things happened today. That's why I pointed to this long. Look at what's happening with the long. Are we looking at NQ 5-minute because I see a breaker? Yeah, you can see right here. Right? NQ 5-minute. It says it right on the screen. You can also see it up here. NQ 5-minute. If we see a unicorn pre-market, can we set limit orders and wait for filling during New York Open? You need to define your hunting hours and stick to it. If you are only looking to participate 9:30 to 12, 9:30 to 11, right? New York Open. Then look for your criteria to be confirmed during New York Open. If you're one of those individuals that want to participate in the pre-market, all I'm saying is decide, make a decision, and stick to it. You guys have to understand very clearly how you operate. The more defined it is, the more you understand it, the better the muscle memory will be. So get all these questions out beforehand before you start risking. So for example, for myself, I look to participate at New York Open. So I want all of my confirmations to occur during New York Open, not before. Can you check the 15-minute unicorn, please? We have a position on the screen. We need to focus on this position. I'm not going to go through other positions, right? In terms of risk management, you need to be focused on your risk. So I pointed to something. I need to see the result to it. If you don't mind, I'm going to focus on the 5-minute unicorn right now because that is what I pointed to. I need to see the result to it. Did you take the trade today? Just go back to the beginning of the video. I've explained myself many times along with the logic and decision making already. Is your model essentially the same for someone who would only have time to trade New York PM session? Yes, the model remains the same no matter what session you participate in. You do the same exact thing for Asia Open. You do the same exact thing for London Open. You do the same exact thing for New York AM, New York PM. Yes, the model remains the same. what is the extra sauce you will give on the private mentorship? All of the details are listed on the website, along with the WAP page. Everything we offer is there. Beautiful model, works most of the time, almost every day. Thank you. Ash, 2K on the day. Mickey, huge W. 2K on the day, let's go. Get another W in chat for Mickey. Let's go, Mickey. 2K is huge. Let's go. But just going to go back on that statement real quick. Yes, the model is great. Yes, it does work. You have to understand that there is no model in the world that has a 100% win rate, okay? This model fails just like any other model. There is no model in the world that has a 100% win rate. Okay, so making sure that it's logical and understandable, because that is the reality of the situation. There is no 100% win rate. Okay, so understand losses will happen, and that's why losses have to be smaller than wins, right? If your losses are 1R, right, 109 points, your wins have to be more than 1R. You have to hold on to your winners longer than you hold on to your losers. Your winners have to outweigh your losers, and you can never have a large loss. Your winners have to be larger than your losers. And in a business where losing is inevitable, it will happen. You have to focus on being patient with your winners. GC M5, is it valid? I'm sorry. Again, I'm going to focus on the position that I'm currently pointing out. My focus needs to be here. This is what managing risk is having undivided attention to your risk. Okay, so I pointed to this, so we're going to focus on this. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go over to the gold chart right now. Need to finish this up first. With price reacting out of a daily FVG, why did we not consider time frame alignment daily, hourly, 5-minute? I think you should just rewatch this video. Go back to the beginning of the stream. That is exactly what I did. Right here, it's still on the screen. This is the daily FVG right here. So just go back to the beginning of the stream. The top-down analysis is exactly that, right? Daily, 1 hour, 5-minute. That is what happened this morning. If the 5-minute setup hits 2R before entry, do we delete the order? Correct. If the position reaches the target before giving you an entry, I would no longer use that position. So, if the position reaches 2R before giving you an entry, X out all the orders, cancel all the orders, and no longer consider it. Does the unicorn work in forex? Yes, it does. Yeah, you could use it in forex. You can use it in commodities. Use it in crypto. It works in all of the markets. Go ahead and collect the data. You'll see it real time. Get the private mentorship. If you're talking about Unicorn University, I'm green for the past 4 months. Not because of signals, but because I've used the information in Unicorn University. Amazing job, Harry. I mean, being green alone is one thing. Being green for the past 4 months, you got to give yourself credit, man. Phenomenal job. You know, the credit really goes to you for putting in the hard work, putting in the discipline, putting in the patience, taking time to work on your education. Congratulations, man. I have 4 months of green is just something to be proud of in a business that majority of the people lose. So Another huge W. Lots of W's in chat today, so amazing job. Amazing job. Congratulations to Harry. 4 months of being green. That is just phenomenal. Very good job. Genuinely so worth it, and Ash encourages, which helps with the cynical isolation of trading. Yeah, so I mean, that was the entire reason behind it, is putting professional, like-minded individuals together provides so much more value. This is a business where everybody does it on their own, so it's very isolated. You don't get to share those experiences, so you're limited to the amount of experiences that you obtain yourself, unless you put yourself around other like-minded professionals. Imagine being around another 20 people that are trading the same exact model as you. Now you're getting 20 times more the data to learn from than you would if you were doing this by yourself. If you are in the private mentorship, go to the personal threads, because the personal threads, where all the other members are documenting their business, is a complete gold mine. You're not just looking at my information anymore. You're looking at 20 other individuals' information regarding the model. Right? Credibility comes from it being a repeatable process, and it being repeatable to other individuals, not myself. Any promos for the university? Yeah. On Monday, my 30th birthday, I'll be running a discount for the private mentorship. The big 3-0. The big birthday celebration. Cinco de Mayo. Can't believe I'm turning 30. Can't I just be 25 forever? I guess not. Did you take the trade yesterday? If the execution labels are not shown on the chart, I did not take the trade. Very simple. You see execution labels on the chart, I took the trade. If there are no execution labels on the chart, I did not take the trade. Very simple. Fantastic work, Ash. Off to go kayaking. I mean, that is it right there. Hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully it's nice and sunny where you're at. Time to touch some grass. Great idea. I'm 3 months green from free information. Let's go, Pat. Let's go. See, and talk about being an independent thinker. Using what's already available to you and working off of that. That is phenomenal. Very good job. Is that also a breaker on top of the one we are currently watching? I would not be using this as a breaker. Here's the breaker here. Okay, so this is what I look for. Look for a swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. This is what a breaker is, right? Now look at the difference to what you're pointing at. Right? You're talking about this being the breaker. Look, ready? Swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high, swing low. See the difference? Look how clean this is right here. This is what I want to use right here. Literally, this line. There's no exaggeration here. Look at all the different turns. I don't want to use this. I'm not using that. I would not use that. Look at the difference. Look. Swing low, swing high, new low, new high. This is what I want to use. Come on. There we go. See the difference? The cleaner it is, the more decisive it is. Are we trapped order flow? This doesn't look trapped at all. I mean, this is moving very generously in the correct direction. You're already looking at plus 1.25 R, right? So anybody that front ran this long, you could be done for the day. This is larger than a loser at this point, 1.25. If anybody took this long, you could start taking your profits if you want to. So in trapped order flow, I don't, this thing is moving nicely in the right direction. I would not call this trapped order flow, if this is what you're referring to. Question, because of the 15-minute uni has just formed, is this confluence to suggest the 5-minute uni is high probability? I don't use that type of comparison. I analyze the time frames that I'm executing, right? So the entry function occurred on the 5-minute chart. I'm analyzing the 5-minute chart. Plain and simple. Nothing more to it. I do not go to the 15-minute chart. I do not go to the 4-hour chart. I do not go to the weekly chart. I don't deal with information overload. The more time frames that you look at, the more information overload you will get. Very simple. Daily is my bias. Hourly is my higher time frame points of interest. 5-minute chart is my entry functions. I don't care what's happening on the other time frames. I was always under the impression that the daily FEG, I must see an hourly unicorn, and with the 1-hour FEG, I must see a 5-minute unicorn. Yeah, once again, the more things that you use for confirmations, the harder it's going to be to get into a position, right? You just said daily for bias, then you talked about an hourly unicorn, then you talked about an hourly FEG, then you talked about a 5-minute unicorn, right? That's like 5 different confirmations instead of 2 or 3. The more things you have to check off, the harder it's going to be to get a trade. Hey Ash, the upper swing also has a bullish breaker. What to do in this case? Should we wait for the lower or go for the higher breaker or shift to the 15-minute? I feel like I just answered that question, so I'm not going to repeat myself. This is the breaker I would use. I'm not looking to compare the 15-minute chart to the 5-minute chart. So we've already been looking at this for quite some time. Right, the risk was accepted the moment we put this on the screen. Once that was put on the screen, it's time to allow the probabilities to play out. That's it. No more. It's just allow the probabilities to play out. Great explanation. I really like your psychology side of the talk. Yeah, in my opinion, psychology, mental and emotional intelligence, huge reason why people are either profitable or negative. So I do always give the insight to the thought process or the logic behind the decisions I make, because having that mental intelligence is very important to allow these things to play out. Is Unicorn University beginner friendly? Yeah, it could help any trader's level. It doesn't matter if you're just starting or if you're advanced. You can gain value from it. Damn, Ash is in total Zen mode. I wish I could detach myself from my emotions as much as you, Ash. That's what it's actually going to come down to, though. So whatever you need to do to get to that point in time, everybody is unique to themselves, but you do have to detach from the outcome so you can allow the probabilities to play out. Right? So I'll just give a couple scenarios, right? Like a lot of people get emotionally attached to the dollar amount. So it forces them to have some kind of emotional reaction that they shouldn't have, right? They buy a prop firm, and maybe that's an expensive purchase for them, so they don't want to lose the prop firm. They're emotionally attached to that dollar amount that the eval costs. That emotional attachment is going to drive you to do things you should not do while trading, right? So if that's the issue, go get a second job. Go get a third job. Work more. Go get another source of income. That way you're not as attached to the dollar amount because you're getting more dollars. You're not specifically relying on that one purchase because of your other sources of income. I heard you say trading is an asterisk to my day. That was a game changer. That stuck with me. Detached from the outcome for sure. Yeah, it's only a data point. Is really all it is. Every single day is just another data point in your data collection. Win, loss, break even, no trade, flat, no participation. Whatever the result is, it's just another data point. You have to be able to learn from every single outcome. You have to be able to fail forward. Those failures are the learning experiences. So when you're failing, if that is what blows you up to the point where you don't want to come back anymore, you have to reevaluate that because you learn from your failures. So find a way to be comfortable with failing. Whatever the part of the process that makes you uncomfortable, figure out a solution for that so you can continue to keep failing. How long do you normally sit trading? Well, just joking around a little bit. I have a standing desk, so I actually don't sit at all. So that's side joke, but I understand what you're saying. I'm only looking to participate from 9:30 to 12 New York time. So New York open to New York lunch. Once that's done, I'm out of here. I'm going to the gym. All right, so there's only another hour left. It's almost 11 a.m. New York time. All right, by lunchtime, I'll be out of here. That's one of those mental health things. That's one of those risk management things. You shouldn't be glued to your desk for 12 hours a day every day. Won't be healthy for the long term. Is there a specific reason you stand? Yes, because sitting is cancer. If you want to lose your metabolism, if you want to gain some weight, if you want to gain carbs instead of burn carbs, it's just healthier to be standing. You know, what's in motion stays in motion. Trying to last forever. You're sitting down, standing still, that's not going to help. If TP is yet to be hit during lunchtime, do you close or leave it to run? Again, that's a risk tolerance, right? So if you're the individual that says, I no longer want to think about this trade, I don't want to worry about it, I don't even want to think about it, I don't even want to look at it, just close the trade, right? If you're that type of individual where you're going into the office because now you have to start your work day and your attention needs to be on your work, close the trade, just be done, right? Like right now, you've gained 123 points on NQ. If you were one of the front runners, you are nicely green right now. And if you're walking into your office and you say, I now need to focus on my work, just close the trade, be done. This is money you weren't supposed to have anyways. You wouldn't have had this money if you didn't do this. So take it and be satisfied with it. All right, so we have been coming up on close to 2 hours on this live stream, so I am going to begin to wrap it up. What a phenomenal conversation today. I just want to take a moment to also say thank you to all the people that participated today, who continue to keep participating in these live streams. You're really providing a lot of value through all of the questions, through all of the information. It's giving a lot of people learning opportunities. So thank you, everybody that showed up today. Thank you for the participation. If I did not get to your question, let's bring that question over to the Discord, because I'll be spending the rest of the time in the general chat of the Discord. That's also where you're going to see the result to this position, right? I'm still going to continue to keep documenting. We need to see the results to this. As of right now, only the front runners are getting paid. You were one of the individuals that were waiting for the retest. You never got a position, and that's more than okay. What does matter is that we were able to create a game plan. You were able to hear the logic and the decision making that went into that game plan. Then you saw the actions during the time of. The market opened. What we were looking for happened at the time we were looking for it. So we pointed to our model. That's what matters. Creating a game plan, executing that game plan. Now, at the moment in time that we're at here, right, the front runners got paid. The people that instantly order, they were given 1.3. They could be done for the day. 1.3 is very nice. 90 points on NQ. That's huge. If you don't fall into either one of those buckets, you'll get to the result to this position once it's completed. So I'm going to go ahead and document same way I do with every other day. Every single day, I will continue to keep documenting my model, sharing my experience in the marketplace, trying to find more ways to provide more value for everyone here. Okay, so be on the lookout for those new giveaways that are coming up. Be on the lookout for the discounts that are coming up. I'll make sure to make announcements and then bring the rest of the questions to the general chat of the Discord, where we will continue this conversation and where I'll finish this documentation. Phenomenal day. Thank you all once again. Really appreciate every single one of you. Before we head out of here, hit the sub button on the YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Let's continue to keep working and learning every single week. Thank you for everybody that joined. Let's head over to the Discord. I hope you all have a great day.